Accomplishments and the finer things in life are only a couple of the luxuries that the top 8% get to enjoy. So why is it then that the majority of us are stuck failing at the goals that we wish to achieve, while these people only continue to get ahead in life? It was this burning question that led to years of researching the most successful people of our times, because I wanted to know exactly what it is that they were doing that the majority of us were not. So I read all the books that I could get my hands on, spent countless hours studying their content online and carefully analyzing their habits. It turns out that the answer lies beneath the surface, deep inside their minds. And what began to emerge was 5 common characteristics. The greatest honor a Roman could receive was called a triumph through Rome. After having marched victoriously home from the battlefield, you were greeted like royalty by a chariot and a procession, and yet there would be a servant behind you, and his only job was to whisper in your ear, "Memento mori," meaning that you are mortal. There's only one thing that we know for certain. That is that you and I are both going to die. Spend some time thinking about that. And I know this sounds morbid, but I promise you that the greatest minds throughout history embraced this fact. All right, that's cool and everything, but how can you actually apply this practically to your own lives? You can start by understanding what's known as Parkinson's Law, which is the idea that states that work expands to fill the time that's allotted for it. You can start to use it by setting self-imposed deadlines, which will make you more effective and work efficiently and less likely to procrastinate on the task at hand. The key here is to think not how much time do I have, but rather how much time do I think that this task will take. Do you ever feel like you're working super hard, you're maybe hustling towards something, but you're not sure exactly what that is? Unfortunately, that's what most of us do. We work really hard, but we haven't clearly identified exactly what it is that we want. Maybe, for example, you want to get in shape, learn a new skill, or start a new business. These are all really great goals to go after. But unfortunately, without a proper framework, I can guarantee you that these things just won't happen for us. What we need is to leverage the systems and frameworks that high performers use. It's called the SMART goal framework, and that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Now we're going to dive into each component to better understand how they help you set bulletproof goals. Let's contrast a vague goal, get in shape. Now, let's look at the specific alternative, complete a 5K run in under 30 minutes within the next 3 months. The specificity really narrows it down so that you have a clear target to aim at. So let's contrast first a vague goal, just to read more books, with a measurable goal, read 12 books by the end of the year, which averages 1 book per month. This difference now allows you to track progress toward that goal. Now, let's contrast first an unachievable goal, learn a new language within a week, with an achievable goal, reach conversational fluency in Spanish within, let's say, 6 months. I know that's hard and it should be challenging, but it's within your reach if you give it your utmost effort and commitment. An irrelevant goal, learn to play the guitar, but a relevant alternative goal, to learn to play and master 3 songs on the guitar so that you can perform them at your local open mic event. This would enhance feelings of motivation and give you a sense of real purpose and fulfillment. Our non-time-bound goal, start a blog post someday, contrasts with our time-bound goal, publish your first blog post by the end of next week. Now you've created a real sense of urgency around your goal because you've got a time-bound constraint to it. That is all the elements that comprise of a bulletproof goal setting criteria that I want you to start using and thinking about for your really big, important goals in life. Let's explore how visualization plays a crucial role in your success. It's not just about the strategy and the planning and the physical effort that you put into achieving your goal, but there's very much a mental component that must come first. And as Napoleon Hill famously said in his classic book, Think and Grow Rich, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, he can achieve. Your brain has the remarkable ability to think in terms of vivid pictures and mental images. Neuroimaging studies taken on our brains have shown that it actually activates similar regions of the brain as the physical practice itself. This means that when we vividly imagine ourselves performing a skill, that the corresponding motor and sensory areas of our brain associated with that particular skill light up, and it reinforces the neural networks as well. I'm sure you've all heard of Michael Phelps. It's well known that he practices a mental rehearsal before every major event.
I visualize every single, getting up to a meet, I would visualize probably a month or so in advance.
He will actually, in great detail, go through each stroke, each turn, every finish
of what could happen, what I want to happen, and what I don't want to happen.
What this does for him is it allows him more confidence and higher levels of competence throughout his performance in the pool, which inevitably has contributed to his record-breaking success throughout his career.
The biggest thing I think that really separated me through my career was my mental game.
Arnold Schwarzenegger famously used this every time he would step on stage. He would visualize himself first as the winner, with every single muscle in his body purely sculpted and defined.
The body is very important, but the mind is more important than the body. You have to visualize what that body ought to look like in order to make it win, because that's what creates then the will.
Now this led to the boost of confidence that he needed, and also a ruthless training protocol and tracking of his nutrition, which ultimately led to multiple Mr. Olympia world titles.
Create a goal for yourself, whatever that may be, a short-term goal and a long-term goal, and you got to go after that. And if you do not see it, and if you do not believe it, who else will?
Now let's review the techniques for an effective visualization practice. Understand the process is really quite simple. All you need is a quiet place where you know that you won't be disturbed and that's comfortable. And what you do is you sit down in a comfortable position and you shut your eyes and you take a few deep breaths, and this grounds you and gets you relaxed and ready for the visualization. Next, it's important to really picture ourselves in the setting that we want to accomplish our goal and immerse ourselves in the feelings that arise when we are winning and accomplishing this goal of ours. So you want to really feel all the sensations associated with this place. How does it smell? How does it look? What are the sounds? And what feelings, what emotions are rising up within you. So the practical application is to practice this visualization quite regularly, especially at the beginning, to really solidify this experience in your subconscious, that then you can access it and do this technique before big events or challenges that you know are coming up in your life. We live in a world where we're constantly bombarded by distractions. It's really important that we cultivate this focus by learning to unplug, and we do so by understanding that the platforms and the content creators on them, they are all competing very aggressively for our limited time and attention. So it's of the utmost importance, not just for our productivity and our focus, our overall mental well-being really depends on our ability to minimize these distractions so that we can focus on the more important things in life. The first tool for noise reduction is what's known as mindfulness. If you want to get started on a more mindful journey, I'd highly recommend checking out the Medito app. It's a free app. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Next, let's run through a couple simple practical tips to design a distraction-free work environment. Remove and minimize all the distractions and clutter by clearing your workspace physically so that only the items that are really essential for the tasks at hand remain. And number two is especially important for those that live in environments where there's a lot of external noise and factors that distract them from getting into that flow state. state by investing in a pair of quality earphones or noise canceling headphones, whatever your budget allows for. This will allow you to remain focused and present with your work material and not be distracted. Deep work is characterized by your ability to focus and penetrate the task at hand, and it's cognitively demanding, and it requires a lot of time and attention to be focused on one thing without any distractions, and this will yield the best quality results. Let's first understand the 3 qualities that make deep work so important in today's landscape. Number 1 on this list is the quality of output. Because individuals are able to produce high quality work, they have the time that allows for the exploration of complex ideas and innovative solutions to those ideas and problems. Number 2 is skill development. Because deep work hones and cultivates valuable skills that can lead to expertise and contribute to mastery in particular domains. Number 3 is their competitive advantage. You got to understand that today's digital age, distractions run rampant, and deep work is not easy to replicate. Let's take a look at how we actually perform deep work. There's a few things we need to do, and that is to schedule a deep work block in our calendar. I personally like to use my Google Calendar for this and allocate a specific time block. If you're new to this practice, I wouldn't recommend going for any longer than 30 to 45 minutes max for your first sessions. This is a skill, and it takes some time to develop a good deep work practice. We want to eliminate all distractions, and this means your phone should be on DND, airplane mode, or even off during these sessions. The same with your laptop. It should be on a mode where you're not going to be receiving any notifications, any external distractions must be muted, and that is critical to achieve a deep work flow state. It can be really beneficial to set a smart work goal for your deep work session so that it's measurable and trackable at the end of the session. We've learned that thinking about our own death isn't just morbid, it's actually something that can help us get significantly more done. And when we want to get more done, and we have an important goal we would like to focus on, we should think about setting a SMART goal. The planning and the strategy is just one element, but the mental and the visualization is another really important element that we must adopt if we want to achieve our goals. The next thing we need to do for goal achievement is to eliminate all distractions. Fifth and finally, when it comes time to getting things done, we've learned that deep work is the best vehicle. I sincerely hope that you found this information helpful and that you're able to begin applying it to your life to improve it today. Thank you so much for your time and being here. Peace.